Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. It has been quite a bit since I've made a video. I'm sorry. I've really been busy lately, but I've also looked at my channel recently and it has been 4 months since I've made a tier list. The last one was Doom. So this is my first tier list for a long time. So we're going to do it on yet another one of my favorite franchises of all time, and that is Grand Theft Auto, or GTA. And you can kind of call this I don't know, a pre-GTA 6 tier list. GTA 6, I think, is going to be the biggest game of all time, so might as well, before it comes out, make a tier list about all the other games in the franchise. So yeah, I guess we'll just jump straight into it. And first on the list we have Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. Now, Chinatown Wars is a little awkward, but I liked a lot from it. Now, this is going to sound weird, but you can sell drugs in this game. Okay, that's like the main point of it. And I think, from what I remember of it, I haven't played it for a few years, but from what I remember of it, it was really well done. I mean, it was so simple, but it was also one of the most fun things to do in the entire game. I also think the wanted system, the art style, the different view of Liberty City, I think they all worked really well. And the controls and the mechanics, I think they felt like a, how do you say it, modernized version of the current games, if that makes sense. Also, this game was released on the Nintendo DS, and the DS version had a lot of fun little micro games with the touchscreen, which I found very interesting. I also think the missions were very well done as well. The only thing I wish is that the cutscenes were voice acted, because I'm pretty sure that the cutscenes were just text, from what I remember anyway. Again, I haven't played it for a long time, but that's what I remember from it. Oh, I just looked it up and it said it did have voice acting. Never mind. Overall though, I think Chinatown Wars is very good. It's very solid, and I'll put it in B. I'll put it in B. I'll be generous. Alright, next up is a weird one on the list. It's Grand Theft Auto Advance. Now, this one, I feel like this game is mixed reviews. You definitely need an acquired taste to like it. I don't like it though. Now this is, again, it's a weird one. It's called GTA Advance because it was on the Game Boy Advance, and it was 2D, which, I mean, it's on the Game Boy Advance, so it had to be 2D. It can't be 3D because I think it might have exploded if it was. Yeah, I don't like that it's 2D, and I don't like the graphics, but there's also, I don't know, I just have some other gripes with the game. I don't like that this game doesn't have a full-sized map. Like, you can't open the map to see where you are, so you're kind of lost at some points in the game. Also, the story is just not good. It's like GTA 3, but downgraded a little bit. It has a very low FPS, but I also blame that for it being on the GBA. Overall, I'm just not the biggest fan of this game. I also don't like that at some points the controls are just unresponsive. The game just doesn't do what you want it to do. So yeah, that's also a point deducted as well. I don't know, I kind of like it a little bit because it's GTA on first off a Nintendo system, but also on the Game Boy Advance. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I also didn't like the driving. I think it was just unresponsive controls. So yeah, GTA Advance, there's not really much to say about it. I'm not going to put it in F, but I'll put it in D because You're far better off playing GTA 1 than you are playing GTA Advance. Alright, next up is a bit of a weird one. It's, I guess, DLC of GTA 4. It's GTA 4 The Lost and Damned, which honestly is pretty good. The main character of it is Johnny from GTA 5. If you know the scene of Trevor, stomping on that dude's head, that's Johnny. He's the main character of this, which playing GTA 4 and after GTA 5 and knowing Johnny, I don't understand why they killed him, but anyways, I'm going off topic a little bit. The storyline is really the thing that sells me about this game. I love stories, and GTA always has the best writing whenever it comes to anything, pretty much. I don't know, there's not really much else I could say about it. It's really just, it's different from the main game in GTA 4. You play as Johnny, you have a gang, and I think it was a more interesting idea with the characters, personally. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's some great DLC, and I will put it in B, next to Chinatown Wars. Liberty City Stories is next on the list, and this one, from what I remember, I actually really like this game. Now, first off, the story is nothing groundbreaking, but I think it is the first and only true Mafia game in GTA history. I mean, you had everybody else in GTA history was pretty much working for them briefly. So yeah, I mean, you didn't really have a lot of that in previous games. Also, I'm pretty sure this game was originally made for, I'm pretty sure, the PlayStation Portable. So the gameplay is mostly intact, but the cutscenes are often done in-game, and they have stiff models that do like one or two animations on loop just to simulate some action. Now, I don't think it's better than, like, let's say GTA 3. It is a fun game, though. The story, like I said, is a little weak. It doesn't really have a clear, like, villain, and it can go all over the place. And it's also just mostly you're doing chores for people, like in GTA 3. So, I'd keep, if you're going into this game and you want to get into it, I'd keep the story expectations a little bit low. And yes, it is an old game, so you're gonna expect the frame rate to be atrocious at sometimes. But yeah, it's a pretty great game overall. I don't really have too much else to say about Liberty City Stories. I mean, yeah, you're gonna expect some quality concerns, but yeah, I'll put it in B. Honestly, I think it's not a terrible game, and it's pretty decent. Alright, well, next on the list is a disappointing one. It is GTA London. This is pretty much what is it? Lost and Damned is to GTA 4. This is that version of the original Grand Theft Auto, if that makes sense. It takes place in Britain, okay? And it's just like the first Grand Theft Auto game. You pick a criminal out of like 5 different ones, and you go around. It's top down. I'm pretty sure it's on like the PS1 or something, and it's really bad. GTA 1 and this are really bad. I think the controls are really the biggest problem with the game. The cars are really touchy. Steering left or right sends you pretty much barreling in that direction. But that's not the really like main problem. What makes it difficult is that almost everything in the game will stop you dead in your tracks. If you brush against a wall or hit a street sign, I mean, you're just gonna stop. Now, you can run over pedestrians, but you can't, I mean, even if you graze by stuff, it'll slow you down. I don't know if it'll stop you completely, but it'll definitely slow you down. Also, whenever you look at the game, whenever you view the game, it looks pretty bad. I mean, there are a number of, there's multiple resolutions to view the game, like you can change it, but it doesn't help that the view likes to zoom in and out from time to time, so it looks really bad. GTA London, I think it does have some good things going for it, though. It has a go anywhere, do anything nature. It does have missions in it, but you don't really have to do them. I mean, it's like normal GTA games. You don't really have to do them. You could just like take a car and just go on a little joyride and crime spree of your own. Yeah, I mean, I might just rank both of these together, GTA London and the original GTA. I'll put them in D. They don't really hold up well nowadays, and I definitely don't want to be going back to them anytime soon. GTA 2 is a very good game. I think it's very underrated as well. Now, I know it's GTA 2, but I think this one is very forgotten about. It's definitely better than the first one, and Grand Theft Auto London. What can I remember about this one? I have seen this before. I think people said that back in the day whenever they were playing it, it didn't have a map in the game. You had to use like a map that came with the game, like it was in the box, to actually know where you were going. And I can attest to that because I played this game via emulator and I didn't know where I was going, and I only just recently figured out that the only way to save is at a church. Like, there's churches in this game, and they are randomly scattered around the map. So, yeah. Also, I played this game recently as well, and I read this as well. The TV vans have satellites that point toward the closest church. The game does nothing to tell you of this. So, yeah, this is definitely a weird game in that regard. I will still say that my favorite thing to do in this game is cruise around and line up a large group of cars to blow up. Yes, sir. I will say, though, I'm probably the least qualified person to tell you about GTA 2, because every time I've played it, I've never really paid attention to the missions. I mostly just free roam, and I cause a lot of chaos. But I definitely like it better than the first game, so I'm gonna put it in C. Moving on, GTA 3 is up next. Absolutely just revolutionary game, man. This one paved the way for all the other games in the series to be what they are. It was the first 3D game. I think it was on the PS2. The story is pretty good for its time. And yeah, some missions were a pain in the ass, but overall, I think it's a game that will go down in history as one of the best. Now, these days, most open world games are just their maps are just a bunch of forests and open fields with small towns and one big city in the middle. And they usually last up to like 100 hours to finish. GTA 3, though, has a pretty small map, and it's separated with 3 different islands. It only takes about 8 to 12 hours to finish the game, but there's so many landmarks on the map, it can help you memorize it faster. And I just love that you can just open up more and more of the map slowly as you go through the game. This game also has probably the best theme song in the entire series. I think it's my personal favorite. But there's a thing I have about the music in this game. It doesn't have that many songs. So let's say you're listening to the radio in the game. There's gonna be a lot of replay of songs pretty quickly. Now, there are some pretty bad things about the game. The shooting is just awful. It has a pretty bland story as well. It's really just a bunch of random missions that you do with no plot until there's a mission that moves the plot forward. Also, the mission designs are either boring or extremely difficult. The worst part of GTA 3 is the dialogue. I say this because, you know, GTA Vice City, San Andreas 4 and 5, they gave you they gave your character, you know, a lot of dialogue, and they gave them so many different ways to, speak it. In this game, if you're driving to a mission and you're in a car, your character just won't talk. He's just mute. In the later games like San Andreas, they give you these long dialogue exchanges, and they help add a lot of context to what you're doing, while you're essentially just driving from point A to point B for almost the entire game. Well, GTA 3 doesn't do this, and it just feels like it's pretty bland, and you're really just driving from one point to another, just doing a mission. But I like some of the additions it made. It added an actual map for you to look at in game. It added first person view, and it also had a very functional PC port. Now, by today's standards, yeah, it's kind of outdated. The game has kind of aged poorly, but I still like it. I still love to play this game, and I mainly just listen to music when I play this game, but it's still fun. And overall, I think it's very revolutionary, and we wouldn't have pretty much any of the later games if we didn't have GTA 3. So I'm going to put GTA 3 up here in A tier. Yeah, A tier. Nah, B. I'll put it, yeah, B. I'll put it in B. Alright, moving on to the second DLC in GTA 4, The Ballad of Gay Tony. First off, I love it. I will tell you though, I did not like Luis's friends, if you know what I'm talking about. I forgot their names, but they're two of the most obnoxious people in the entire franchise, and that's saying a lot. But I love the way that it wraps up the trilogy, and I also loved it because of the explosive shotgun. Now, I have seen people say that they consider it like kind of a GTA 5 because of all the things GTA 5 borrowed from it. I kind of wish that the DLC additions would have been added into the main game if you had the DLC installed. It would have been amazing and would have made it function like an actual DLC instead of a separate game based on GTA 4. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to talk about. I think the story was a little bit weak, but I really liked playing it because of the weapons and the vehicles, so yeah, pretty much, I don't really have much else to say about, you know, Mr. Tony, so I'll put it in B. And finally, we are on Grand Theft Auto Vice City. First off, I like the atmosphere and I like the map. I think they're both perfect for a GTA game. Main thing that I like about Vice City is the story, even though I don't think it's the best compared to most games in the franchise. I think the voice actors, though, are perfect, and the plot, I guess, is simple, but I think it's very interesting at the same time, and it's very easy to understand. I don't like that it felt very short, though. You know, I know that San Andreas feels bloated, but it was really cool to see how CJ traveled through the state of San Andreas and he just evolved as a character. Vice City, though, suffers from trying to pull a 3-part story without normally doing transitions between. Graphics wise, I think Vice City has very good textures. I like how it looks, okay? I'm trying to say it in a certain way, but like, I don't know. I like how it looks pretty much, and I like the lighting as well. I think it's better than San Andreas. So Yeah. No, yeah, the gameplay mechanics, they're clunkier than San Andreas, but they're nowhere near as clunky as GTA 3. I don't know. I can't remember if I mentioned that or not. I like the vehicles. I like that they require a little skill to control. And yeah, I mean, I like also the boats as well. I just think they feel very good to control. They feel like, actual vehicles. Again, just I don't know, I feel like I poured so much into GTA 3 and GTA San Andreas. Vice City kind of just like inserts itself between, so I'll put Vice City in. Whoa. Calm down there. I don't even know where this went. I'll put it there. I'll put Vice City in A. Yeah, I know a lot of you are probably screaming at me to put it in S, but I'm gonna put it in A. Alright, moving on to the best game in the franchise, Grand Theft Auto 4. This game is miles better than GTA 5, and it's not even close. People have always said that GTA 4's map was limited, but I really don't think so. It has a lot more accessible, interiors than most other GTA games, and I'm not including the ones that required a loading screen to actually get into them. The world is super detailed. The NPCs are more realistic than GTA 5, and the cops actually arrest people and perform traffic stops. Nico is the best protagonist in the entire series. I mean, he reminds me, I know I keep talking about Metal Gear, I always find a way to sneak it in one of these videos, but he reminds me of Solid Snake. He's been through some stuff, alright? And his reactions to his events around him and his conversations with other characters, I feel like it's better than GTA 5, because GTA 5 just, I don't know, man. Nico makes the other GTA characters just feel like, he doesn't feel like a video game character. He feels like a movie character or something, like a main character in a movie. He is by far the most relatable protagonist in the entire series. I will say though, I don't like that it was a little more bare bones than the previous games. You didn't have any flyable planes. There was a lot less weapon variety, but I think the DLC made up for it a little. The online was also super fun, and I think that GTA 4's city is probably the most immersive out of all the GTAs. I think the story is also terrific. It has an amazing story, and the gameplay physics are top notch. This one, I've probably played it more than GTA 5, and I used to grind a lot on GTA 5 back in the day. This game is just so good, and I hope that GTA 6, honestly, can surpass GTA 4, because that would be such a monumental task, because GTA 4 is such a masterpiece. It would be hard to do it, but if it's possible, we might have the greatest game of all time. Now, I will say, I played the GTA franchise in order, and whenever I first played it, I was coming from San Andreas and Vice City, and I found 4 to be just boring overall, but over time and more time with me playing it, I have come to appreciate it so much more, and I think it is an absolute masterpiece, easily the best in the entire franchise. So with that, I think it is safe to say that GTA 4 will be the first game on the S tier on our tier list. Oh boy. Okay, well, look what's next on the list. Yeah, we're just gonna put that there. Do I really have to say much about GTA 5? I mean, everybody and their mother has played this game. It's still getting updated nowadays, online. I think it probably has one of the biggest online communities in video games ever. I think it was the most sold game of all time in the span of 48 hours. The story is terrific. It has some of the best writing I think I've ever seen, and some of the best voice acting I've ever heard. And overall, it's really good, but it's not better than GTA 4. Yes, it's one of the greatest games ever created. I will forever say that. And I don't think I really have to say much else about GTA 5. It's GTA 5. I think you all know what it is by now. Even if you never played it before, maybe your mom yelled at you because you were playing it, I don't know, but I think we can all agree that it can go in S, and I don't have to say much more about it. Alright, moving on to GTA Vice City Stories. First off, I'm gonna say Phil Collins has a concert in this game. What? But anyways, this game I think it had more mechanics than Vice City ever did. I mean, you could use bikes, you could swim, you could buy properties in the game for business. I also like the graphics as well. I think they're more colorful and vibrant. The story goes into pretty good depth. I think it has a pretty good cast of characters, and also this game has the best melee combat ever. Now, I don't think that people really have played this game that much, because obviously Vice City is the more known game and it's probably the more played one. This game kind of was doomed to fail anyway, because it came out whenever the next gen consoles were coming out back in the day, so people weren't really playing this one that much. A pretty sad fate for a pretty solid game in general, but my opinion, Vice City Stories is gonna go up in B tier. Honestly, I think it's a very good lost gem. If you have the money and you want to play a GTA game, play Vice City Stories. Well, I did it for GTA 5, so I gotta do it for GTA San Andreas. Come on now, this one's going in between these two. Come on now. So, this replaying of this game actually made me want to do this tier list in the first place. And it's as good as I remember it. Now, I played it on PC, and I played it with a few mods, and it transformed it into the best open world game I think I've ever played. It just does so many things right. Things that so many open world games that have come after it, I can't even compare. This game, I think is, I think it's 20 this year. And I like to hold the belief that this is the game that has the best soundtrack to ever be put in a video game ever. I've listened to these songs probably once every couple of months for years now, and I've never gotten tired of a single song. I'm not joking when I say this. San Andreas shaped my view on music. Map design is absolutely untouchable. 3 huge cities with a desert, a countryside, and they all blend together seamlessly. It has LA, San Francisco, and Vegas, and it manages to capture different vibes, cultures, and atmospheres perfectly. I think the best part of the map is that, compared to today's standards, it's a pretty small map. You can drive from one side of the map to the other in about 5 minutes if you know where you're going. Also, in my opinion, I think the customization in this game is revolutionary. I just like how you have so much freedom to just edit yourself. Your shirt, your pants, shoes, watch, necklace, even your body weight and muscles you can do as well. You can have fat CJ in this game. Also, the writing in this game is superb. I think this was the first GTA game where we really saw that it had amazing writing. Also, comparing this game to GTA 3 and Vice City Stories, it makes me realize how bland GTA 3 and Vice City Stories seemed. there's also just so many iconic moments from San Andreas. Like, you can quote probably 15 things from the story alone, and it is so replayable as well. I found myself emotionally connected to like half the characters in this game than I am to my own family. Like, that's how crazy it is. Hey man, I think the graphics also hold up to this day. I mean, a bright and sunny Los Angeles with an orange filter, and you got the cloudy and the rainy San Francisco, and you got the bright, just like exotic Las Vegas as well. It's also got some of the best missions in the game series as well. There's so much stuff to do. Like, there's so many activities. You could have a lowrider dance battle. Like, what? And, you know, I don't know, there's really not a lot of bad stuff I can say, but one thing I'll say is, you know, the game is kind of separated into like 4 acts in the story. And one of the biggest gameplay mechanics in this whole game is the gang warfare. And, you know, the gang warfare, obviously it's important, but, you know, you have it's like a big part in Act 1, and then it disappears for Act 2 and 3, but then it comes back in Act 4. I don't know why the devs would just, like, shy away from a big gameplay mechanic and just come back to it in Act 4. Like, why? I don't know, there's a whole video I could make about San Andreas, but I think you guys will just have to play it yourselves. If you haven't played it already, that is. It's one of the greatest games ever made. It's definitely the reason why GTA is up there. That and GTA 4 and I guess GTA 5. Those are the reasons why it's probably my 4th favorite game franchise of all time. So there you go. There is my Grand Theft Auto tier list. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the support on the videos, and yeah, I want to do more tier lists. I'm working on a Call of Duty one right now, and I'm also gonna do a few more. I don't want to spoil what I'm doing, but I am doing a Call of Duty one. There's just so many games in that franchise, and there's so much stuff to remember. So that tier list might be a little sloppy, but if you've watched it at this part of the video, comment like what you had for breakfast or something, so you know, that way I know that you're an absolute legend. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope all of you had a happy Thanksgiving as well, for all of you that celebrate it. So yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.